Hey, how's it going? My name is Baker. I'm a Christian music video director and editor, and today I want to be showing y'all an in-depth tutorial on how to do 3D title cards in After Effects. I'm going to be showing y'all how to make a 3D title card in After Effects. So title cards are probably the most important part of your video. If it's a music video, if it's a short film, anything you're making, it's just going to set the tone for the video. So say you have a good video, even if you have a good edits, just everything's on par, but you have a bad title card, you're just typing out a title, you're typing out the title card in regular font, it's not going to look good, it's going to ruin the whole video. And then vice versa, if you have a bad video, a title card will make it 10 times better. So it's just always important to make sure you got a good title card and just set the tone for the overall product, overall video. So today I'm just going to be showing y'all how to make a simple one. So to do this, you are going to have a paid plugin, Element 3D from Video Copilot. Now this is $200, but it's worth it. You can do a lot more, and I'm going to be making other tutorials on the other things you can do with Element 3D. But I bought this plugin probably about 3 years ago. And I done made my money back tenfold. Like I use it in dang near every video, every edit, and it's really a good investment. It's definitely one of the, if you have a list of things you want to get as far as editing software go or editing presets, this should be on the top of your list, because you can also add, it has Element 3D, but it also has a bunch of different 3D packs. Got motion design, Pro Shader, got the Metropolitan pack that I haven't even gotten yet. But there's a whole bunch of the sports pack, a whole bunch of different 3D applications you can use in your overall videos. So this is a video I shot not too long ago, earlier this year actually. And the intro for the video is right here. I'm just walking. And I know you can't hear the audio right here, but it's just a build up for the beginning of the song. And then the beat drops right here. So I'm really just gonna play around with it. The song is called Spade. So we're gonna put Spade right here. Probably change my go-to font is Akira Expanded. And if y'all ever watched Akira, the anime, this is basically the same text they use for the title card for that movie. So we're gonna bring it out bigger. And now we're going to right click, new, and we're gonna make a solid. So after you got your Element 3D downloaded, you're going to come over to your effects and you're just going to drag on top Element 3D. So now you got Element 3D right here. So now you're going to come down to custom layers, custom text and mask. So path layer 1, you're going to put on Spade. Then you're going to come up top to scene settings and extrude. So now you got a 3D model of Spade right here. So you're gonna come down here, down to bevel, and then you can play around with the extrusion. So I kind of extrude it pretty big. I like to bevel the edges a little bit. But actually, I think such an underrated spot in Element 3D that people don't use is they have built-in bevels. So they got different things you can play around with, different 3D layers, 3D models that you can play with. And this is probably my favorite. I haven't used it in a while, but this is the one I used to always go towards. So let me see. So you can just play around with the extrusion, do with it as you please, as you like. Let me see, expand edges. And then also you can come down right here to environment. And not environment, to materials, and you can change the materials as you like. So just depending on the scene, I think it was like a brick wall or something like that. I'm gonna just make something real quick, nothing too crazy. And I think that'll be good. Might wanna, yeah, I think that's good. You can come down to the environment. This is pretty important as well. So it kind of has a brick wall, a brownish feel to the video. So this environment, it basically just warps around and gives it a reflection to bounce off of. So I think that actually looks pretty good for the video. I'm gonna bring it in. we're going to get rid of spade right here. The regular text, we're going to color coordinate. Just make that orange so we know which layer we're clicking on. I'll cut that so it ends at the right point. And there you go. Already like that, it actually doesn't look too bad. But now we're gonna play. What I like to do is I kind of like it to kind of come up, kind of just shoot up. So we're going to actually bring this up first. We're going to bring with the rotation and kind of spin in however you like it. Just depends on how you want to do it. But I'm just going to show you a simple way how I like to do it. So kind of, see now it's a 3D layer. You can rotate it, you can play around with it. And it looks like some kind of gold plate or bronze plate or something like that. So we're going to have it start out flipped upside down. Then come down here, multi-object. We're going to enable multi-object. And then basically you can play around with the rotation of each layer. And then maybe even bring that together. And then we're going to come all the way back up top. We're going to keyframe all these. Then bring that back down to 0. And then play a couple frames, however far. So let me come back, I need a keyframe. All right, then come back up however far you want to do it. And then bring it all up. And for me, I like to bring it up, bring it all the way up, and then kind of bring it back down towards the end so it'll fit right. Put that rotation back to 0. Just bring everything back to normal, back to 0. Then you got this back to 0. And we can see it's still a little bit too big. So we're gonna play with all of those. And now, I'm going to easy ease everything. Select everything, right click. You can also press F9, right click, and easy ease. So even like that, it's looking a little janky, of course. Looking a little. So now we're gonna, the graph editor is gonna be your best friend. The graph editor is always gonna be your best friend. And we're gonna play around with that. So you see how it just kind of slowly comes in smooth? It comes in very smooth like that. We're gonna make it come in a little bit more harsh. So motion blur is gonna be right here. Just turn on motion blur for your layer right here. And we're gonna come back to graph editor and play with the graph. So instead of having it come up smooth, we're gonna make it come up a little bit harsh. And then smooth it off. So it comes up a little bit more. And it just kind of comes around. And I low-key think we done made the scene too long because it's still coming up too slow. You don't want to have it look funny or nothing. And then also just a nice hard cut down. That'd be nice. And something like that. And then you're just gonna want to edit it, play with it a little bit, even the rotation. You want to just play around with it. And just tweak it to your liking. Come down here to the multi. Play that as well. And shoot, really all of these. Go easy ease these as well. Such a clean way to just sauce up the video. Hold on. I low-key think we done made the scale too big. It's gonna come up here. Bring it down just a little bit. Still make this too small. So about this side right here, might want to come up. Just bring it up a little bit. Don't got to keyframe it. But it's all about just playing with it however you like it. Coming back down here, fixing those keyframes. And sometimes you just want to see how even this looks. Like it bounces, comes up, bounces down, and it comes back up. That actually doesn't look bad. Might keep that. Simple as that. I think that's all right there. Spade just comes up. I still think this might be too high. It's coming up a little too much. That's hard right there. Now with the title card, you're also gonna want to make, you're gonna want to put the artist name somewhere. Now I think sometimes you can really get away, now that you have the 3D layer, you can, the artist name is Venice. So you can actually just kind of make it come in right here. I usually put it above, I usually put it either above the, kind of on the top right hand corner. I'll put it about right here. Or maybe I'll put it under here. Or even sometimes right here on top of here. It's hard. But we're actually gonna make this also a 3D layer since we're in Element 3D. I'm gonna change this font just so it's something different, some contrast to the, a little bit of contrast on it. Let me see. And all these fonts I get off defont.com. It got unlimited fonts, all free fonts, and you just want to play around with it. You can search that website. I always look at that website if I'm looking for a new font to use. But I think I'm trying to find something not too crazy that I can use. Super Mario might be a decent looking one. So yeah, I'm gonna probably just have it come up like that. So we're gonna come back to your element and down to custom masks and layer. And we're going to click Venice. Have it come out like that. Come into scene setup. And I actually haven't done this in a minute, so I'm trying to remember exactly how to do it. New group folder. Nah, not new group folder. I'm going to come down, we're gonna press extrude again. So it's just gonna give you another spade copy. But we're gonna come down to your custom path. And we're gonna put a custom path too. So now we got Venice, you can't really see it. We're gonna bring that up. So custom path 2 is just gonna make it lock on, make it extrude the second custom path instead of it coming out as spade. Bring that position up. Bring that up as well. Play around with that size a little bit. Have it come down on top, and I might make this, I want to make this a different color. Gold doesn't look bad. It's a little too far up though. I want it just enough right there. Honestly, gold doesn't look bad. I might keep it as gold. Maybe black. Nah, we're gonna keep that as gold. Gold is cool. Then it comes in like that, and it's also going to warp as well. You see how this is still coming in? It's gonna warp the same as the rest of this, so it'll still give you a cool. And you can see the reflections. Like it's such a good software, bro. Like the reflections gonna come in. You can see it. It looks like it's 3D. So it comes in. Looks 3D. You can see all the colors reflecting, and bam, just like that. So we're gonna turn off the bottom layer right here, or the actual text layer, and that's good like that. That's really a perfect title in my opinion. So we're gonna do a couple more tips just to show you how to blend it in a little bit, because it looks maybe slightly a little choppy or slightly something's missing. So something you can do, a good effect you can, or a good technique you can do, we're gonna duplicate this text layer or the 3D layer. We're gonna change it to brown so we know which layer we're clicking on. And we're going to make this turbulence displace. We're going to add a warp behind it. Turbulence displace, you might scale it up a little bit. Scale it up, bring the position down a little bit. And we're gonna warp it up. Turbulence smooth is the best one. So once again, we're gonna bring that amount down to 0. And then maybe the amount up to 100-ish. It depends on what your clip, the depending on what you're doing. Bring that warp up. So now you got that keyframe. So that's actually hard right there. You're going to play around more with the turbulence displace. Probably just bring it out a little more, so you get the full warp throughout the whole. Gonna easy ease those. And then play around with that grab editor, and I think that looks pretty good. Now I'm gonna start using actually, let's put on Color Rama. Color Rama used to be a really popular effect a couple years ago. I feel like nobody be using it no more though. Color Rama is pretty good, and it gives you just kind of like a colorful background as on. We're gonna play with the color phase, if I can remember. So yeah, you got a whole bunch of different backgrounds, different color combos you can use. I think for this one, probably fire would be fire. Fire look good. And it's looking a little choppy. I'm not sure if you can see on the screen, but it's looking a little funny because I got it at quarter. So when you're editing in After Effects, of course you want to lower that quality so you can get faster editing speeds and then render it at the full. So it looks a lot more smoother. But I do it in quarter to just get faster rendering speeds. But that's hard right there. Looks like some fire coming out. I'm trying to think of something before I start using Sapphire effects. I'm gonna try to figure out how to. Let me see. Mosaic. Do mosaic would be decent. So yeah, just play around with it. Make it look pixeled. Want to make that even. And that right there is hard as hell. That's fire to me. Got a simple one. So we're gonna play around. I think from this one, I'm gonna put Chroma. Distort Chroma, which is a paid plugin from Sapphire. And this is always a good one. It just does that perfect warp, that nice blobby warp. And I think that's a good one right there. Does a nice warp. And honestly, bro, I'm liking I think I'm gonna keep the mosaic, but I think I like the mosaic a little better. So yeah, we got that effect. And now a couple more techniques to make it look a lot better. We're gonna put Gaussian blur, which is a regular blur. And we're gonna keyframe it at the beginning. We're gonna do 0, and right when that junk comes up, we're going to blur it to make it. We're gonna blur the background to make it seem like it's actually in the camera, like the camera's focusing. When it comes up, the camera is focusing on the title card, and then when it comes back down, we're not going to turn it all the way back to 0, but we're going to still blur it a little bit, but bring the blur down so we can have our main focus on the title card right here. Come back down here, just easy ease. And bam, just like that. So now that we have that, another technique, come back up here. Another technique to do, we're going to bring all these layers together from this clip right here. And we're going to pre-compose them. And actually, before we do that, we're going to come here to your top text layer, and to make it look a little bit better, we're going to put on Lumetri. because it still looks animated, which of course is animated, but we're going to want to make it look like it fits actually in the scene. So we're going to play around with that color grade. This scene is kind of warm a little bit, has a little bit of a green tint, but not too much. Maybe bring up that exposure a little bit, and maybe the contrast just a little bit, but not too much. So that's a decent color grade. You don't gotta do too much to it. And add grain. So it looks very like, without the add grain, it looks very just 3D. Like it just looks like, I don't even know. But when you add grain, it kind of just adds a certain element, and it makes it look like it's more into the scene, like more realistic, I guess. So adding that grain, you see, it just makes it a lot more. A lot more harder. So come back out. Another good thing to add, just to bring it all together, I'm gonna do glow. After Effects has a built-in glow. I'm gonna be using Sapphire Glow. Just wanna start low. Same thing with the honestly, yeah, bring it down a little bit when it comes up. And bam, something like that. I think that's hard. And then this is also a Sapphire plugin, Warp Chroma. Warp Chroma is always a good one. It's gonna add just a nice blur to the outside, a little RBG to the outside. Nothing, just not too much, but just enough. There we go. Now one more effect. We gonna add, this is something I more recently learned, but it just definitely adds a lot to it. CC Light Sweep. This is built into After Effects. And you definitely seen this before, but maybe not knew how to do it. But it's just basically a light sweep. So we're gonna bring up that intensity a lot. On the edge, taking some more. That width some. Sweep until you're playing around with it, however it fits your clip. And you're gonna wanna center it. The center, you're gonna keyframe it. And then closer towards the end, you're gonna want it to come across like this. So now you got an animated light sweep. So you can kind of see, but you can kind of see it kind of shows up before you want it to though, when it comes up right about here. So what we're gonna do, on the light sweep, on every effect, it has the composition settings. So you're just gonna want to bring the opacity down to 0 and just get rid of the effect. Then right before that keyframe comes in, just bring it back up. Light sweep adds a lot to the effect, and honestly I think that's about it. I low-key think the glow is a little too much. I might just take that glow off. And I also think it's like, it's not centered right. So I'll pre-compose this so we can just bring this whole thing down without having to move both. Bring it down, maybe scale it up just a little bit. Nah, bring that scale down a little bit. Fire right there. This is a video actually been edited, and this is a video that's already done, and I low-key think I should have used this title card for it. I made a much more simpler one. Which simpler ones can be good, just depending on how you, and then just depending on how you want to do it. But I think that's perfect right there. That's a perfect title card. So I'm gonna show you the one I did, which is gonna be another example. This is the final one. I really just made a very simple one, but I think it's still hard though. That's my title card right there. So come back. All I did is I used the same font, Spade. And I know I said at the beginning of this video that you don't want to just use regular letters, but when you know how to catch those aesthetics and kind of catch just certain aspects, like it's all discernment, but to get away with just making something simple like this. So it comes in just a simple fade, has directed Baker visuals by me and my bro Kevo. And then also you can add I'm not sure what that is, a rating or whatever, which makes it look a little bit more professional. And the song called Spade, like the card game or like the cards. So I put Spade instead of A, and I just flipped the spade and then had Venice come in like this, kind of in the same area, but in a different font. So just something real simple, but still nice at the same time. And I think that's hard though. But at the same time, now that I made this just for this tutorial, I feel like I probably should have maybe did a little something like this, but it ain't too bad though. And I think that's it for this tutorial. Alright guys, that's it for this tutorial. If you like the content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.